Hi, everybody,
Hey.
and welcome to this edition of Where Are They Now? We are here with the cast of the beautiful Cabaret. Yay! Do you all remember what season we came from?
Yeah.
Season
What
year it was?
5,
4.
4.
We're going way back, y'all. 2013.
Season 4.
And wow, Candor and Evan has had a great
13,
effect
wow.
on our theater, and this was a fabulous, fabulous show. So right now when we're getting started, I'm Darlene Zoller. I'm one of the artistic directors here at Playhouse on Park. Sean Harris is also on this Zoom. Sean was the director of Cabaret. I was the choreographer. And we have Colin Britt, who was our music director, waving so handsomely right in the middle of my screen. So I'd like to go around. I'll call your names out, and if you would do me a favor, give me your name, and if you could tell me the character you played in the show, and if you've done anything else at the Playhouse, that would be amazing. And then I would just love to know where you are hunkering down for this COVID craziness. So Katie, I'm gonna start with you.
Yay! Hello, my name is Katie Luke. I played Texas, the Kit Kat Girl, and I haven't done anything at Playhouse since. And I'm currently hunkering down in Harlem in New York City.
Yay. Tao.
You're muted, Tao.
Sorry, I muted myself. Hi, everyone. My name's Tao Nguyen. Crap, I forgot the questions. What?
What's your name? What did you play? What else have you done at the theater? Where are you?
My name is Tao Nguyen. I played Herman, and and then the previous year I was Mary Sunshine in Chicago.
Woohoo!
And I am currently in North Carolina dodging the Rona because I was in the city, but then I said nope, left, and haven't been back.
Okay.
Good thinking, good thinking. Jake.
Hello, I am Jake. I'm pretty sure I played Herman.
I'm so sorry. I'm the one who likes sauerkraut. I don't know. I'm the sauerkraut one.
You said that and I was like, oh shit, did I play someone else? I was like, oh my gosh.
I was trying to look through the cast list and I was like, who am I?
Kit Kat girls.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was Herman, and a sailor, and I think Max. I've done a couple Mama D's at Playhouse.
Yes, you have.
And right now I'm hunkering down in Harlem.
Yay.
Yeah, you and Kate.
Harlem. All right, Erin.
Hi guys,
Hi.
I'm Erin Crum, and I played Sally Bowles in Cabaret. And I also played Roberta and Danny in the Deep Blue Sea. Yes, jazz hand. It's so good to see you guys.
So good to see
Oh,
you.
and I'm in California.
Oh, you are?
Got a cat in the background.
What?
Oh, yeah. Is that Tinkle?
She's legit gonna try to scale this.
Tinsel? Tinsel or Tinkle?
Huh? Tinsel! Good memory! Yeah, Sean. Yeah, I'm in Santa Rosa, California with Paul, my fiance's parents. We are here for a while.
Oh, well, be safe, be well. Colin.
Hey,
Hi, so I'm Colin Britt. I did, let's see, starting with the last 5 years, I did music direction for a handful of shows, Chicago Company, Side by Side, Swinging on a Star, and of course Cabaret. And then since Cabaret, several iterations, I think 12 total of Mama D's Outrageous Romp. And I am hunkered down, that's my dog. I'm at our beautiful house that we just bought in Bound Brook, New Jersey. Right here.
Yeah.
But we still have an apartment in Jersey City, which is where we've been for the last 7 years.
Oh, awesome. Zoe.
Hi, hello. I'm Zoe Farmingdale. I played Helga, the baby. You can't see it, but I'm very short. And I was also a gorilla because gorillas are short. I am in Sherman Oaks, a part of beautiful Los Angeles, California. Happy to be here. After Cabaret, I did Red Light Winter, and that is my Playhouse career to date. Were there things that I have missed?
You have done it all, and we are proud of you. Thank you so much. Emily.
Hello, my name is
Hello, honey.
Emily Crone. I did Cabaret. After that, I did Spelling Bee, and then I did Little Shop, and
Othello.
I did Othello. I always forget that one. Maybe we should analyze that. I've been hunkering down in Brooklyn, New York, this whole time.
As long as you're healthy, we don't care where you are.
Yeah.
All right, Connor.
Hi, I'm Connor M. Hamill. I played Ernst Ludwig. I haven't been on the stage, but I've helped your lighting person with stuff since Cabaret. I'm hunkered down in Washington Heights, a little farther than Harlem. Pun intended, quote intended. Yeah, it's good to see you guys.
Good to see you. All right, Brendan.
Hello, I'm Brendan Norton. I played the MC in Cabaret, and I'm here in beautiful Philadelphia.
Yay!
Oh.
And wait, and what else did you do at the Playhouse?
And Cabaret was my third show at Playhouse. I did Trapezium and the Comedy of Errors.
Yes.
Before Cabaret.
Whew, I gotta dust off my brain. I can't remember what everybody's done.
Mhm.
It's crazy. All right, Damien, you are on, sir.
Io sono Damiano Buzzerio, and I have played the older man in Cabaret, Proof, The Chosen, and Little Shop. And I shuttle between Inwood, Manhattan, and where I am right now, the Adirondacks.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
So happy to have you here.
Oh.
And Ashley, are you jet lagged?
Yeah, I mean, so I just, I'm in Long Island, but I just flew in from Los Angeles. So yeah, like a 3-hour jet lag. It was a red eye. That was more the issue. It was a red eye. I've got a cricked neck, but I jumped in the ocean and I'm here and I'm happy. And I played Fräulein Kost and doubled as the Kit Kat girl. And then I had the pleasure of returning to Playhouse Park for Lend Me a Tenor as Maria. Yeah.
You know, this show was
Fantastic.
so.
All right, Sean, you want to chat a little bit?
Yeah, no, I just want to say, like, you know, we were just at an event the other night, a party at Darlene's house, and we went around and asked what people's favorite shows are, and a couple people said Cabaret. And more and more, we do like salon nights where we talk to subscribers, and it's amazing how many people, and we've done, I don't know how many productions total that we've done in our 12 years, but this show is so memorable to so many people, and it's so impactful for us as a theater. It was the first time Darlene and myself, we talk about this all the time, first time we really worked together and saw what we could do at the Playhouse. We saw the quality of work we could do. We saw how we could work together. We saw the type of people that we wanted to work with. And it was life-changing for us. And it was life-changing for the theater. And I think also we really did the immersive quality for the first time in terms of how we got you all into the audience, how we used the lobby. And it was edgy and comfortable and sexy and really emotional, and it went through almost everything that I personally believe theater should be, and so it's had such an impact on us, and I didn't think we were going to be able to get you all on this call. Like I know that not everybody's able to be here. There's about 4 of you that aren't able to make this call, but it's so hard to get a cast 9 years ago or whatever the hell it was, right? 7 years ago. 7 years ago. I'm not aging it too well. But 7 years ago together. And so it's just wonderful that you all jumped to be on here. And I think it was pretty significant for all of you too. So thank you very much. And thank you for giving us all that you did 7 years ago. And it's wonderful to see all your beautiful faces now.
And to jump off of what you said, Sean, we had clearly worked together before this show, but this was the first time that we really learned to trust each other, that we would let each other in on directing choreography and just blending everything, because the show is just so blended together. And I think it was, for the two of us, a profound moment when we just realized that the trust was so there. And in a show like this, it really had to be. And it couldn't have been without such an amazing cast. So we were really blessed with a wonderful group of people. I don't know how this happened, but yesterday I was just cleaning up my desktop of my laptop, which is like 5,000 things because I'm one of those. And I was putting things into folders, and I just happened to click on a folder, and it was the actual audition notes from Cabaret. And it was so wild. And I'm going back and just seeing notes next to all your names and all the people that we didn't hire. And it was crazy. And I was like, oh my God.
I mean, you have that, right, Darlene?
Yeah, you're going to read some, right?
You have that, and you're going to tell us what you wrote.
It's so crazy.
she's avoiding that answer.
But I mean, Sean and I, over the years, have gotten into like a little shorthand of things for auditions. And, you know, we're usually next to each other, and we'll make notes on our own page, but then, you know, there's just a big yes immediately if we feel it. And that's what I kept seeing as I was going down the line on the auditions that I was looking at. I'm like, just a big yes. And like, this is exciting. And now I get to see all of you. And then with that trust, I feel like we were able to create something that had such a profound effect on our audience, to the point where, Sean, and I know you are going to agree with me, I have never seen a show where at the very end, people could not get out of their seats, did not want to leave the theater, and were so moved emotionally, brought to tears, whether it was just from memories or just from your performances alone, because everything that you put on that stage was incredibly raw and important. And I could not be more proud of the work we did. So while you're all here, the Playhouse owes you a huge thanks, because it put us on the map with our audience, with our audiences, and knowing that we could do a musical like this and tell such a truthful story, and not, you know, and I will go back and say we had done Chicago 2 years before, am I correct? And everybody thought, oh, fun, Chicago, let's do Cabaret. Oh, you got to do Cabaret now, because they thought they were just going to go home happy. And, you know, Sean and I are talking, and Colin as well, when we're in meeting, going, I don't know what people are thinking, but they ain't going home happy. You're going home moved. And our mission at the Playhouse has always been, every show has to educate, entertain, or challenge you. And if we can fulfill one or all of those, then we feel so satisfied and so sure that we have done the right thing. So there alone, we've done a great job. So with that being said, let's ask some questions. Sometimes I like to go all the way around, but it might take forever. So I might pull out a person or two, or if you really have a thing you want to answer, or if you want to answer that question, I will do that. So let's start with some show things. Does anybody have a really strong memory of anything that happened during rehearsal that you're like, what are we doing? What? Yes, Tal.
One of my favorite moments, and I still use it, is Damien. Sean was giving you a direction of some sort, and you kept on saying, sure, yes, sure. And Sean was like, wow, you're really easy to work with. And Damien, you're like, it's your show. And I still use it to this day. Every time a director gives me a direction, I was like, it's your show. You just sign my checks. That was my favorite moment. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Damien, do you remember that?
I don't know.
You had a profound moment with Tal, something that's going to live on. My phone will not stop ringing, and you don't even remember.
Little baby Tao was like, yes, Damien, this is how I should operate. Yes, and. You taught me yes, and.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, exactly.
I'm going to say something, but because I have to get off, because I have a commitment on this block here. But I just want to say that we've all probably worked in other theaters by now after 9 years, and we've experienced other regional theaters and other companies and other groups. And I just want to say that at Playhouse and Park, for whatever shortcomings you guys do have as a tiny little theater company that has very little outside funding. I think we've noticed that what you get from you people, Playhouse on Park, is that there's human beings behind the organization who really, really care. And, you know, I mean, little shitty things happen every once in a while, like checks bounce, you know, and it's not because you're fucking up. It's just because everybody's trying really hard, but the money's just not coming in as fast as it should be, or for whatever reason. And, you know, sometimes you got actors saying, this fucking sucks, this fucking company. Yet they have no clue of what it's like to run a company year round, house all these people in various houses, all the things that you guys have to go through every year, all the bullshit you have to put up with. But what you manage to do is, in this little tiny company, you know, in this little elite community, put up quality stuff that people say, holy shit, these little guys. And you got 2 major theaters in the town right next door, and you still are able to do this. So I just want to say, I love every experience that I had there, and I would come back for the right role. In a heartbeat. Absolutely in a heartbeat. I love this place, and I always talk you up and tell people about it, because there are human beings behind Playhouse and Park, and that's what makes you guys very special.
Oh, gosh,
So,
that's a beautiful sentiment. Thank you.
Damien.
And I know,
With
I believe Dawn Loveland was our stage manager, was she not? And then later on, Damien, you had the lovely opportunity to work with her as your director. Would you like to talk a little bit about that? Because I think she deserves that.
God. Absolutely. So Dawn was our director in The Chosen, and it was 4 males. And if you're not familiar with the Chaim Potok book, it's Hasidic material. It's Hasidic Judaism, and it's very serious stuff, and it's gut-wrenching material, and it's very masculine in a scripture-like way. And so here's little Dawn with 2 old guys, you know, one guy from Hollywood, Dan Shore, who's you know, done so much TV and movies, and 2 younger guys who were very sure of themselves and talented. And so we basically said what you said, that I said, which is, it's your show, Dawn. You know, you put us in, and she said, well, I want to see what you guys can do, and if what you're doing is wrong, I'll point it out. And she gave us a lot of freedom, and that freedom, and she was open to so many suggestions, which doesn't mean that she didn't know what she was doing. We just had an idea. She was allowed, created this atmosphere of collaboration, which was amazing. And I think you guys, Playhouse and Park, could attest to the fact that it was a sold out success, the whole, you know, run, just incredibly. And I think a lot of that goes to Dawn's willingness to be open and to create a very safe space for 4 males in a very masculine and a very heavy, serious play. So we're all in love with each other. We all, you know, stay in touch with each other to this day.
Oh, that's great.
Because of that experience. So,
well, thank you so much, Damien, for your testimonial. We love that. And, you know, you alluded to the fact that as a small theater, we have to put up with a lot of bullshit from actors, but I have to say that the amount of bullshit we put up with versus the amount of talent that you all bring to the table is so out of balance. I mean, hands down, the positives are so strong that they just wipe out any of the negatives, and we're so happy when we have people like you all. So I want to give some more people a chance to talk. So we talked a little bit about the audition, the rehearsal process. Anybody else have anything from rehearsal? I want to remember who stuck their foot through the chair, because we were slamming our feet in Cabaret. Do you remember that? And we had gotten the Cabaret chairs, and you're holding onto the chair. Who did that?
Is that Kevin?
I don't know. Must not have been any of you. Maybe Nina or.
I feel like it was Nina.
That sounds like a Nina thing.
Nina. But I mean, we had that anger thing
Nina
going.
or Mackenzie.
Slam the chair, stomp on the chair, and I just remember somebody's foot going through that. And for this moment, I really can't think of what it was. And I have really strong memories of you, Aaron, when I was working with you, because we had just met, you know, and you always have to build that trust. And you were just like, you literally like shrunk your little self onto the chair, hiding behind the chair, and just like, can I try something like this? Or can I try? And like, yep, let's just figure it out, because it's so important for us. We try to bring on the most talented people that we know, and as Damien said, then just wind you up and let you go, right? Because don't you want that opportunity to be able to do some things? And you all brought a lot. So we have our music director on the call. Colin, do you have any questions about the music, the experiences you had with them?
Oh my goodness, questions. I didn't come prepared to ask questions.
Well, you don't have to ask a question, but maybe you have a memory. I know, because the nature of the show involves the band so much. And as Kevin mentioned in our little pre-chat, you may want to expand upon that a little bit.
Yeah, that was before I think we had had any Mama D's that had quite pushed the envelope that far, because we had had a
blown open.
Yeah, I mean, I think most of you are aware that Kevin starts Act 2 by giving the piano player a oral pleasure, and like as the show went on, like he would actually start like unzipping my fly, and, like putting his mouth on, and it was just like, I mean, there was no actual contact, but it was like we were technically married in many cultures, I think. Yeah, no, I mean, for me, you know, I echo what Sean and Darlene said, which was just that, like, globally, this was just the most rewarding experience I think I've ever had in the theater. And I think I told you all on day one how special this show was to me. It was the show that made me fall in love with theater, God, 20 years ago. And revisiting it was just such a joy, especially with this company and with this theater. And I still, I mean, I will say every day until something amazing happens that Chicago was the most fun I've had doing a show, but Cabaret was by far the most rewarding and fulfilling experience I think I've ever had in theater. It was just, and it was a show that I could have done for another year and never gotten tired. I remember going in every day, just not being able to wait to get started. And I think the thing that was so magical too is that I felt like we as the orchestra had moments with each of you during each show. And like, I just remember like I would lock eyes with one of you at like a key moment when just something else was happening on stage, and you brought us in as characters, and that was just such a fulfilling experience, and not one that we get very often as orchestra musicians or as music directors. And I look back on that year, and particularly that summer, as being just some of the happiest times of my life. And I think the day we closed was one of the saddest days of my life, because it was also the end of my chapter in Connecticut. I was moving to New Jersey like the next week. And so it just felt so fulfilling and rewarding to be able to bookend my time in Connecticut with all of you. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Brendan, I'm going to jump over to you. So as the MC, you had to carry the show in crazy kind of ways, you know, just like leaping in and out of places, appearing in different places, all while scantily clad, wearing the craziest makeup ever. We were having my social gathering here the other day, and Lily started talking about, am I correct, Sean? Am I misquoting? That was her opportunity, her first opportunity to work on a show makeup. And she just, you know, changing her life as a high school kid, coming in and working on a show, learning how to do things like that.
He was like, I was 17 and I had to paint his nipples.
Yes, that's
I always did my own nipples.
Oh, okay.
as the days went on. So, you know, when you came in for that show, you know, did you have a set idea in mind of how you wanted to approach this? Or, you know, give me a little bit of your backstory on coming in as the MC, because it's such a great role.
It is. It is. I'll second what everyone else said, or at least what Colin said. That summer was so happy and so joyful, and we were all just like little demons living in hell all summer. It was good, but like in the best way. It was so hot. Talk about like quickly memories of rehearsal. It was so ungodly hot that summer. I lived in a nursing home.
In a good way.
Yeah, in a good, great way. I made a lot of old lady friends. And I was just looking over this playlist that I have called Summer 2013. That is all the music that you used to warm us up with, Darlene. And I can't listen to like Come and Get It by Selena Gomez or terrible song, but really good for us, Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke.
Right. That was the SWAT number.
Yeah.
I hope that I have that effect on people.
There's like Bastille. And I mean, it was just such a great summer. I've never been in better shape. That's probably true for a lot of us. But sorry, to get back to your question, so much of it was Sean when he got in touch with me, or when I don't even remember who got in touch with who at the beginning of the audition or, you know, casting process. But I feel like Sean had a lot of raw ideas that he wanted to go with. And I had a lot of people I had seen do the role that I really wanted to pull stuff from. And together we kind of approached it that way. I do remember I had to make an audition tape, and I made it at a theater that I had just closed a show at. And I used two of the ladies that were in the cast with me as Kit Kat dancers. And we like did the whole opening number.
Weren't you doing Bloody Bloody Andrew Jackson or something like that?
I was, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was such a special, like singular, never to be repeated event. It was so.
Well, I will tell you that remnants of you lived on for many, many years after that. There was white paint and makeup smudged on every surface of every part, on the couches, backstage, on the seats, on the I don't know what you all were doing, but you were.
You remember the cocaine too? There was like cocaine smudged into every corner of that
Not
building.
real cocaine, clarify that.
Yes.
Probiotic powder.
Sally Bowles, the one, the only Sally Bowles. How are you, my dear?
Doing great.
Oh, good. Well, again, big shoes to fill a role like that from this little girl, this beautiful woman. How are you feeling going into that? Because I mean, to me, before our show, I would think of Cabaret, I would think of Sally Bowles, I would think of Liza Minnelli. You know, that's right where my brain always just went. And you, I'm sure a lot of people had that because that might have been their only introduction to Cabaret. And yeah, now here you are trying to say, okay, nope, we are in the Playhouse. We are up close. You are only 4 rows away from me at the most, and I am your woman for the next 2 hours. How did you feel about that? How did you feel about taking on that role?
Intimidated, but I was so thrilled. I just remember the audition process and being like, I have got to get this. I have got to get this. And you guys sending me away and being like, can you come back looking a little more rough? And I was like, gotta look like a hooker. Like smudged all my makeup. Came back looking ridiculous. Yeah, yes. Yeah, it was intimidating, but also I was so excited. And I remember drawing so much inspiration from Judi Dench, because I'm just obsessed with her in general. But watching her clips of Sally Bowles was amazing. Like she has an intensity and a sincerity that is just, you can't stop watching her, you know? And so I was, like Brendan, I was excited to draw from that. And also, I was thinking when, I don't remember who you were asking and what exactly the question was, but I feel like the space that we did it in was just lent itself to like really digging in and a total like connection to whomever you were interacting with. And it just felt like you had the audience by the balls the entire time, and that was so fun.
It kind of felt like our clubhouse all summer.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that, because we try to create an atmosphere where you really feel together. So I'm glad that that kind of resonates with all of you. Ashley, I want to keep you awake because I'm worried about you. You look like you're that travel time, you know? It's all good. So you had a fun role. I love that role. You want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I love that role too.
Fräulein Kost.
It was a big deal. Like, I watched Cabaret the musical. Actually, okay, I was thinking about it because when I was doing my red eye last night, there was only one drama available on the movie section, and it happened to be Cabaret the musical.
What?
I know. But I was thinking back, the first time I watched that, I was, I think, 16, you know, rebellious teenage era, great. But I remember seeing a preview for the movie because I grew up watching old musicals with my mom. And oh my gosh, I saw a preview and it was as a young child, like Sally Bowles with that like harsh haircut coming on and those like clothes. And I was like, what is that, Mom? What musical is that? And she's like, When You're Older. And I was like, oh yeah. And I wanted to be Sally Bowles, but because I didn't know about the play. And then I actually got pre-cast in a production in Canada, Northern British Columbia, Canada. I was supposed to be Fräulein Kost, and I was like, who is she? I don't know anything about her. And then really dramatic, like Hollywood North, I won't tell the story online. Things took a wry turn and the production never happened. And so I was like, spent 10 years. Now I didn't care about Sally. I was like, I'm supposed to play Fräulein Kost. So I just was so excited from the beginning, from like that first audition and the callbacks, and everyone in the room. And it was just like a real pleasure. Yeah, to really do that role with Damien. And,
Such
yeah. Sorry, that was my, that's what comes to mind though.
Connor, I'm going to jump over to you. So in your role as Ernst Ludwig, you're probably the one person I hardly had any work with. You were not singing and dancing with me much.
Not much.
So I would love to hear what your experience was, since I really didn't get to experience it with you.
I mean, if you think about Ernst Ludwig, he's a very slimy character, I would say, but he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. So we have a lot of that today in the public eye. I'm talking about politicians, of course, and really I just tried to focus on it in that way. But I mean, I remember growing my beard out a lot for the auditions because I was 17. Playing Ernst Ludwig is I think it was a bit young and it was challenging, and it forced me to grow as an actor.
Wait, were you really 17?
Yes, he was 17. No one knew that, right? I think we pulled it off, Connor. I think we
did.
Not real?
Yes. He was only 17.
I don't think anybody knew that at all.
Nobody knew that. Yeah. So
holy shit.
That was I think I grew a lot as an actor because of that.
How could you not in a show like that? Dear Lord.
Yeah, you really have to grow up. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's one
I
of
wish
the,
I was singing and dancing though, I must
oh
say.
my gosh, light bulb moment that Mama D just found out. All right,
Connor,
so
can I,
now
can I,
I'm
can I,
getting to the meat of this where I have my wonderful singing, dancing ensemble, lady, gentlemen. Oh my gosh. Because for me, that's always, where my heart lies because I spend so much time with all of you and in this kind of a show, doing this kind of dancing that was so raw. I mean, two ladies and money and Sean and I talked about a lot of things. It's like, how far do we really go? And we decided to just go far. And as long as you were all willing, we were all more than able. And whatever it was that said to you, yes, let's do this, I'm so grateful for that because it was just so pure, your energy and what you just put out on that stage. And so I'm just going to go around to each one of you and just whatever you want to talk about. So Katie, you were the first one on this call and you've been the quietest because we haven't gotten back to you. So yes, please go.
Yeah. Well, something that always sticks in my brain is that Cabaret was my first professional show ever. I was just a sophomore in college, and it was like I was like, oh my god, I'm getting paid to do this for the first time. Yes. And that was super exciting for me, and I'm very grateful that it was Cabaret because I feel like it was a wonderful set the precedent for what my career would then go forward and working at different theaters and everything. And it was just a great oh great, this is what it's supposed to be like. And it's really, I think it's just been just such a great journey from then on. And I also think definitely the production kind of taught me a lot about saying yes and not being scared. And I think that was super cool for me to experience because before this I literally was Sarah Brown and Guys and Dolls and Millie in high school, so I'd never gotten to experience something like this. So I think it was really cool for me to learn just go for it and just say yes and you'll be pulled back, but otherwise just give all you can give. And I think that was super exciting for me to experience it, and I'm really grateful. I had to warn my parents before they came to see the show, but my family loved it. So yeah, I think that was a really cool experience for me.
It was so amazing to see your growth from the beginning of the process to the end, and then since I've seen you since, just really, I don't know, this very this actor who is a craftsman now, and that was something that I didn't see at all in the beginning of the process. And it's amazing how that kind of just developed. And it is something about, it's not Guys and Dolls, right?
No. No. But yeah, thank you.
Yes. All right, Zoe.
Oh boy. I feel like I have so much to say, so I'm going to try to distill it. But I will say that this show is one of my favorite shows. It was such a beautiful experience to get to take part in it. I remember getting the call. I was at a Passover Seder and I got the voicemail from Sean. So I was like, that's fitting, I guess. I mean, I think this was my first probably real legitimate regional gig. And I feel like I really had it was a gift and an olive branch extended to me. I had been in the Ripley Greer rooms for a dance callback or another 32 bars so many times, and it just it wasn't happening. And I knew that I could do it, and I knew that I wanted to so badly. And getting this opportunity was both a sigh of relief and a major excitement at the same time. This show, of course, is beautiful and devastating, which is, I don't know, again, if it's my Judaism, but that's definitely right up my alley. But not only that, I just remember being again, and being if I stepped out of the moment for 1 second, being I can't believe this is my life right now, that I am singing and dancing and performing and wearing this costume and speaking German and playing trumpet for my job. It was all of these things that I do that people always tell me are so sprawling and that I need to focus, and here they all were in one show. plus the fact that not only that, but we had such an amazing cast group experience and a bond together, which is like probably, I mean, aside from loving performing and loving the medium, is like the reason I do it, the thing that brings me to it is that's my family. Like, even if it's a temporary family, like that's what I want. That's what I want to be a part of. And this show really was that. I mean, we all loved each other, and many of us made out with each other, you know, as well, in front of hundreds of people. But, you know, it was just, we all wanted to be together. We wanted to work hard at it. We wanted to rehearse. We took time outside to practice speaking German. You know, like Mackenzie and I would like go in and do our own understudy rehearsals, like in our own time, you know, and so it was just so beautiful in so many ways. And, you know, another time, but it paved the way for me to be able to take part in Red Light Winter, which those of you who know is a very extreme show. And I think the only conditions under which I was able to do that show were this being the preceding experience. So I'm just like endlessly grateful for having this opportunity. I'm endlessly grateful for having this cast experience and I would do this show forever in any part. So my gratitude and love to everybody. But yeah, that's my piece.
My cheeks are hurting from smiling right now. Thank you for all the lovely things you said. Jake, what would you like to talk about with us?
Oh gosh, my cheeks are hurting from smiling too. This show this summer was like one of the best of my life. Seriously, like Katie, it was my first like professional role. Before, I had lived my entire life without facial hair, and then Sean said, "Can you grow a mustache?" And I was like, "Oh gosh, I'll try." Here it sits.
A living remnant.
It is still, yeah, literally, it's been a part of my life ever since. So that's the kind of effect that the show had on me. It was such an amazing summer, seriously. It was like the best thing I've ever done.
Well, I hope every time you look in the mirror, then you think of us.
Of course.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. And we've had so much fun with you on the stage with Mama D's as well. So thank you. All right, Dow.
Memories, so many memories, so little time. Facebook is generous enough to remind me every summer with fabulous pictures. Like I said, Damien taught me, well, the Playhouse nurtured little baby Tao, because I wasn't done with my training. I was brand new to the musical theater scene. So I applaud you guys for being a safe space. And I remember how many people of color we had in our cast, you know, and that's something as an adult now I'm constantly looking for, but I didn't know 20-something-year-old me was craving. So I think that that memory, aside from the making out and the cocaine, sticks with me, and the corsets that I no longer fit in, but that's okay.
Oh my God.
You Tao, you gave me this blue goblet.
I made that myself. I remember.
I love it so much.
Yay.
And speaking of making things, I don't know how many of y'all are friends with Tao on Facebook, but I'll assume you are. And all of his mask making that he was doing throughout this whole COVID craziness, hats off to you, young man. That is so lovely. You are a wonderful human being. I love that you had always positive things to say in the beginning, and then you kind of just bowed out of social media for a while. And I think you said it was just, there was nothing for you to add. There were so many terrible things happening that you just didn't need to put inane subjects out. And then you came back and you're back again, and you should always post because you're always a breath of fresh air. I love reading whatever it is you have to say. You're one of the most positive people I know, and you are just so kind and caring. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I'll add that to my website.
Yes, please. So many of you had said, you know, it being your first experience, and Sean Tracy and I from the beginning have always thought that the Playhouse should be a place that we can offer opportunities. That, you know, there are oftentimes where some people in a bigger theater would be overlooked. And I'm going to go back to Don for a moment, because Don just came to us, you know, hey, you know, I can do this, I can do this. Okay, well, here, how about you stage manage? How about, and then she grew and grew and grew and grew and became a fantastic director. And we take pride in that. So every time I hear that some of you are saying this is your first experience and it was a good experience, it really makes us feel like we are doing what we've set out to do. So if I could have anybody who wants to raise their hand and just say,
What about Emily? Can we go to Emily?
oh, did I miss Emily? Oh my gosh. Yes, I'm so
I thought you
sorry.
were doing a big segue into how
No,
the first
I'm so
experience
sorry.
and how after Emily left Cabaret, she blossomed.
Oh, you do it, John. You do
Star
it.
and
Yes.
rock star and all.
Oh.
Of I thought it was the setup.
Oh my God.
It's a
I
setup.
follow my notes better.
Keep going. You got it.
Yeah, keep going. Yes, what can I say about Emily? My God, the things that you do, you're a freaking rock star, and not by just the generic term that everybody uses, like a literal rock star. And you're so freaking talented and beautiful, but those clothes, girl. Oh, all right. So talk to us. I'm so.
I mean, you could have skipped me because honestly, I don't have anything super different to add from all the incredible things that everyone has said so far. You know, which totally relate to my experience. I mean, this was the most fun. This was the biggest blast. Every time I think about it and every time I talk about it, I just say it was the most fun I've ever had. On stage, off stage. I mean, on stage, obviously, the art was incredible, and off stage was equally as enjoyable. I became such good friends with so many incredible people that I still love so deeply. You know, that will never be, that will always be part of my life, and I cherish so profoundly. And yeah, just being in the show was, I don't really consider myself a dancer. So getting to, and when I think about the experience, I think about you, Darlene, because Sean, of course, you directed the show, and yet I didn't really, rehearsals were with Darlene. So my director was kind of Darlene. And that was so cool because I got to feel empowered as a mover, and that's not really my thing. And it was so, and empowering really is the word. It was so empowering and just so juicy. And one of my favorite moments that I would love to share is the Sean Toos moment where I got to be with Colin and like sing on the piano, which was so neat and sad. And I think I might have been going through like one of the breakups of many that I had with that boyfriend at the time. And I just remember feeling such an exquisite sense of catharsis. And I relate to Zoe in terms of like the Judaism. There were just so many layers to the experience for me personally that felt watershed in terms of not just my artistic career, but in terms of my personal growth. And so I cherish it so much, and thank you all for being a part of it.
Oh, it's so wonderful. And just FYI, Colin has it in all his Playhouse contracts that a female must always sit on the piano of every show that he music directs.
Love it. You should. Keep it.
And I don't think we've ever turned you down on that, have we, Colin? You got somebody under the piano on this one too, so you got two for one.
That was not in the contract.
This audition process was really amazing, and I use I'm going to use Zoe and Emily as I talk about them a lot in terms of their need to do the show and how they basically like we had a ton of ensemble callback people. I mean, it was just like really like, how do you differentiate? And I remember, and I've said this to so many students and other actors, Emily, I'm going to say it. Emily goes, and right before she leaves, okay, this was so brilliantly played, and like everybody should take a book from this. So everybody's leaving out the door. Everybody says, goodbye, Sean, goodbye, Darlene, blah, 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 and they go. She comes back, so she's technically going to be the last person that I see, okay? And she goes, and just so you know, I have housing in the area or something like that. So then I'm like, So, and then Zoe sent me an email saying that she had housing in the area. Now, neither of them have housing in the area, but they needed to do the show so badly. So then we're going apples to apples. Who should we choose? Who should we choose? Who should we choose? And then and then we were like, I was like, well, let's go with these two. They really showed that they were hungry for it. And the last thing you know, that's what you want. You want a cast to be fucking hungry for this work, and everybody in this cast was so hungry for the show. That was like literally amazing. And the fact that you guys came and then got an apartment together, or whatever the hell you did, because you didn't have housing, but you made it work because you need to do the show. Like it really taught me about work ethic that's possible, the X factor that's possible with actors when you're deciding. You know, it's hard to make these decisions. But then when somebody has that, they bring that to you, and they're basically like the commitment. You can see the commitment from them. It's like, I have to put this person in the show. They have to be in the show.
Absolutely. And anybody watching this outside of our lovely cast, housing people is a challenge. Housing all the actors. So for you to do something like that was just brilliant. Just brilliant, because, you know, you jump to the top of the pile and then here you go. And again, I will agree with what you said about them being hungry, Sean. I will never forget at rehearsals when it was like, they're all coming at me like, I want to do this, I want to do this. So everybody wanted to do more and more and more. It was never like, oh, do we have to rehearse again? Do we have to do that number? It was never that. It was like, can we just keep working? Can we keep doing it? And it was so challenging and so fun. And then I'm going to flip from that word to fun, because, again, as I've said before, people think of this show like a Chicago, and it's fun and it's playful. But then we jump to that final scene, which to me was the most brilliant thing I've seen Sean Harris direct in our theater. There's a lot, but it's one of the most brilliant things you've done, Sean. And it has left a profound effect on my life. And I just wonder if anybody can say anything about that last scene. I mean, I know how I was watching it. It's hard to imagine what it is doing it, being in that last scene. Zoe, do you want to go?
We were all crying every night. Like, you do shows where you cry in the show, and it's not always the thing that you can really pull out of yourself, but it was pretty consistent that those of us huddled together, walking through that final, you know, picture, walking to the end, to our end, we were all like, the way it was, we were able to get there, and we were getting there together. So that was really, I remember that. Like, we gathered, we kind of trickled together, and the women like all kind of held each other, and it was, and then we all stayed back there and silent and just holding each other and crying together until the final blackout, until we heard the clapping.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, kudos to all of you. Clearly, you're brilliant actors. And I've seen the show done many other places and have never been as moved as I was then. And I don't think it was just because it was in my theater. Because, again, brilliantly directed and beautifully performed by all of you.
I remember the silence. Because
Yeah.
the spell just, it would last for 30 seconds sometimes. It was like
Absolutely.
Nobody wanted to just, they were so transfixed and horrified and moved, and it was just beautiful.
Sean, what do you have to say about it? Because really, it was you that really made that moment happen.
You know, I don't know. I think there's so many factors that went into that moment working, and I think it had a lot to do with the buy-in of everybody into the world, the whole cast into the world, and the audience into the world. And if we didn't start, well, it's part of the whole philosophy, right? The philosophy of the show was that we were going to make everybody in the audience care about every one of these people. And Jake is not on the call, but I remember somebody leaving and saying, oh, I never even knew Cliff was a main character in the play. And that's because we've seen so many shitty productions of Cabaret, but we have, that Cliff is insignificant, right? Sally Bowles' story. Well, if we were going to make this an ensemble play, and that means that everybody in the audience had to buy into everybody's journey. So that's why we started with the lobby, and then we got everybody in everybody's faces, and then that we had special moments in which you would smile at certain people, or you would go into the audience. So everybody became emotionally connected.
Oh, can I interject one thing, Sean? What about that young boy that sang that?
Oh my God, I didn't invite him on the call. I didn't invite Charlie. Charlie's becoming, just so you guys know, Charlie bit my finger. No, Charlie is, he's graduating from high school this year, and he's getting the leads and everything. He's doing this. This is what he's doing. And I think that's just
Great.
Because he started as a little Hitler Youth at 9 years old or whatever.
And that's not even like how the show is supposed to be performed.
That was your idea. That was your idea.
I think that it was like we had a discussion about it, and I was like, can we do this? Because this is how I did the show when I was a kid. And Sean was like, that's so twisted. I love it.
Was.
Also, we had to like, I mean, I was really nervous about this poor kid. We had 2 kids actually.
Yeah, we did.
Coming in and doing this show with like this like orgy happening throughout the show on stage. So we had to like make an agreement with the parents so that like he would only come in for that scene.
So all of those little things, Sean, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it was like a right place to put it, that were making the audience buy in. So can finish your statement.
No, that's it. And then that just held everybody to the end. So they rode this this world of humanity and compassion instead of this disconnected Brechtian kind of approach that you could totally take in the show. And that was deliberate. And I don't know, I think a lot of people might not think that Cabaret should be more disjointed or disconnected to the audience. Not in our space and not with this cast. Erin got that role purely because she was the only person who came into that audition and was vulnerable, and I had everybody do the same side, and it was about finding a baby, or something about the baby, I remember, and she fucking broke my heart. And I remember I was like, that's who I want for Sally Bowles. I don't want somebody who's coming in and doing this kind of showy Liza Minnelli like wannabe performance. And I think that was kind of the anchor. Once we saw who we were able to get at the audition, and that kind of anchored the rest of how this show in our space was going to be. And I think that's how the ending worked, because we didn't force it, we earned it.
Well, I'm so pleased that you all took the time to be with us tonight. We were talking about doing this cast from the very beginning, but then we started with some smaller casts so we can get our feet wet and figure out what we were doing, because it's challenging with a lot of you. But just as it was doing the show, having this call has been a dream. Seeing, as I said, I wish our viewing audience right now could have seen when you all first popped on, because I thought my heart was just going to jump out of my chest. It was so fun seeing each and every one of your faces. And now that we're in this time where there's no human contact and there's no hugging, it's so hard. People we see every day, we can't be with them. People that we love from afar, we can't be with either. So I'm just going to quickly, before we go away, go right down the line. I won't forget you this time, Emily. In fact, I'm going to go to you first. If there was one thing you could be doing right now, if it wasn't COVID time, what would it be doing? Emily?
Oh my gosh.
It could be silly. I don't care, anything.
I think it would be, oh my God.
Was he naked?
I think we only saw an elbow. Don't worry.
I think I saw.
I'm in the middle of talking. I'm not on mute. Help. I think it would be, I think it would be being in a theater. I think it would be in a space of live performance next to other people, whether on stage or not, watching or performing, either, but being in that space.
Okay, Katie, what would you be doing? Just any one thing right now.
I guess traveling. I traveled a lot last summer to a couple of different countries, and I just like kind of had a travel bug. And so if I had the means, I would just want to go someplace new, I think.
Oh, okay. I hope that comes true for you. Brendan.
I would probably be working, like work. I would like to be
Is
working.
that the one thing you'd want to be doing?
Yeah, honestly, like I was working a lot in the service industry and working in bars and working as a bartender, and I miss it.
Yeah. I mean, by design of the show, it's where are they now? And we usually ask, what shows are you working on? But we can't do that because nobody is working. And that's why I just want to ask, what would you want to be doing? Colin, I'm pretty sure I know your answer, but go ahead.
I'm going to cheat and give two because the first thing I would do if this were over was want to be in my choir room teaching my kids again. I would, if you offered me $1 million, I would still go there. But my second, I think, would probably be Mama D's.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll make that happen somehow. Woohoo! Connor.
If I wasn't in a show, which I would love to be doing, I teach kids rock climbing on the side, and I miss coaching my kids.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There's something about teaching that you get so entangled with those children and the adults, whatever it is, that it's hard to give them up. It really is.
Yeah, and you learn a lot about yourself when you're teaching. So.
Oh my God, don't you ever. I know so much about myself because I've been teaching a long time. Woo! Aaron.
This is so cliche, but if I were cast, I'd be doing a show.
Oh, of course. It's not cliche. It's what you want to do. Zoe.
Yeah, I mean, I've had the good fortune since 2010 every summer doing a show. And in March I was like, uh-oh, I haven't done a time. And then, shortly thereafter it was like, well, it might not happen this year. So, last year I was in Indecent, which is like so like similar to Cabaret in its tone in so many ways. And it was so wonderful. And now I'm just left like hanging. So I would definitely I'd love to be keeping my record going strong and doing another show. Or hugging animals.
Oh, okay.
I can't do either because you can't, I love animals.
Ciao.
I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon and say perform. Digital is nice, but there's something about that live audience and those lights. And my soul, I'm addicted to performing, so I'm there with you.
Jake?
I really, really, really want to go to a club and dance to Lady Gaga's new album. It's all dance tracks, and it came out like months ago. So I'm hungry to dance to that. Darlene, you should listen to it. It's really good.
A little rain on me.
I was doing it, Darlene.
I will. Ashley.
Well, my first instinct was to say Cabaret, the music. No. Okay. But I was supposed to be, literally, it's August 5th, and I was supposed to be in Edinburgh, Scotland, debuting my one-woman show, Victoria Woodhull, that Sean was supposed to direct. So definitely, if I could be anywhere in the world right now, I never thought I'd say this, it would be Scotland.
Oh, that's wild.
But Long Island's nice too.
It will happen. If it's meant
next
to happen,
next summer, Ashley, we're going.
Next summer.
I know we've been working on this show for months and all that, and I just want to I do want to say that I have very close friends on this call and that were in this cast, and it's really great when you can kind of transcend those roles that you start with, as these director actor roles, and there's some of these amazing friendships have grown, I think, for all of us, but for me very personally, I mean, like, this was I was getting divorced during the show, and like it was right after the show, and I was going through a really, really rough patch, and I think it kind of I'm really glad that I was able to have these friends. It's really nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, I'm going to let you go. I just want you to know that you have left an indelible footprint on the theater, Playhouse on Park. We are forever grateful for all of you for everything you've done for us, putting us on the map with a show like Cabaret, doing so with such joy and with such grace and commitment. And I know Sean and I both just love you all so much and are so grateful to know you. And we wish you all well. I always like to do this, if we could all just do a nice group hug or a heart or something so we can all, I really, yes, I love it so much. All right, be well, everybody. Please take care. Stay in touch. Social media is good for that one thing. So politics aside, I just love seeing what you all are doing. So thank you and keep doing it. All right. Much love. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.